So shout out to the people from Alaska. All right. I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to do one more mission and then I'm done. But so anyway, so I feel there's a lot of things that I could have done better in my life. There's a lot of situations where I came off worse than better. And sometimes I feel like my actions or the way that I thought about the situation made it worse and made it so that I couldn't get further ahead. Um, and what I mean to say is that obviously, like, even back like 5 years, I drank a lot. And when I say drank a lot, I mean like I would use it to like numb myself. Plus, I had very enabling relationships where they would do the same thing, and we kind of like pushed each other to fall into bad habits with one another. And I don't know, there'd be times where I feel like I was always very scrappy. So I think there's been twice where I lost my job, and one of the times definitely, both times I feel okay. No, one of the times definitely not my fault. And then the second time, I definitely did something wrong, but apparently there were other things that I was doing wrong, but no one had told me that I was doing them wrong. So even though, like, my last job that I was fired from, it happened on the day that I was very late because I overslept. That was definitely my fault. However, I still feel like being late once is not a good enough reason to fire someone. I feel like that should come with a warning. But again, paired with the other stuff that I had been apparently doing wrong, but they never told me about. In fact, quite the opposite. They would always compliment me about how well I was doing and how fast I was picking stuff up. So then why wouldn't you, in addition to all the great stuff that I was apparently doing, tell me what bad stuff I was doing too, and then I would stop. Anyway, that's besides the point. I was always very scrappy. So when it came down to it, I would always, do the right thing and like try to like, pull myself enough together enough to where I could like, still pay rent and all that stuff. But still there would be times where like, obviously, like instead of just dealing with my emotions in a healthy way, journaling and just working through it because I would just not work through it. Instead, I would just drink with friends and like there's nothing wrong with like having a drink socially, but like when you're doing it to numb yourself, that's just it just doesn't work out. The feelings are still there and you wake up sick in the next morning. So yeah, so definitely that. I was always going after emotionally unavailable men and convincing myself that like basically that's all I deserved.
You just got a stamp of Cinderella.
You just added a stamp to your collection. Your stamp collection is...
Like, in comparison to my fiance, it blows my mind, like, how many times I put up with someone's behavior or was seeking out someone's, like, approval. I don't even know, but, like, looking back on it now, there's so many times where I'm just like, why was I so hung up on this one person? Why was I literally bending over backwards trying to prove to them that they need to take a chance on me? Like, why do I need to prove anything to them? You either like me or you don't. And that was just a very, very hard, long lesson for me to learn. That took a long time for me to learn. And I don't know what it was exactly, but there was a switch in me that went off at one point. I think it was just because, like, I think I got tired. Like, I think, I don't know what it was. I did go to this wedding once, and something was said during the wedding that completely changed my perspective on how I wanted to find my partner. And that was during her vows. She had said And of course, this doesn't apply to everyone, but what she had said was that when she was speaking to her mother about, finding her forever partner in person, her mother was saying that you don't go looking for a boy, you look for a man. A boy is a burden on you, and a man meets all needs. And I don't know what it was, but hearing those words kind of was the beginning of starting to put things into perspective for me. And hearing them and what's really funny is I didn't even know these people because I was a guest at this wedding. And the way that they talked about each other and were saying I'm here to make your life easier, not harder. I think from that point on, whenever I started to date someone or was interested in someone, I would fully assess it, and I would really think about I would put in the same amount of energy that they would put into me. And a lot of the times I would even notice do they make my life, easier or harder? Do they make a good addition to my life, or do they put a burden on my life, if that makes any sense? And right now I'm probably using very extreme rough language, but that's the only way that I can think about it right now. And at that point, I think I'd been single for 4 years. And it was one of those things where it's just honestly, I'm pretty happy with myself. I still obviously had stuff to work on. I still have things to work on where I'm still not 100% happy with myself. But for the most part, I finally reached a point where I was just you know what? I am happy with who I am. Obviously, there's some things that I want to work on because that's what we do as humans. We just grow and we work on ourselves. But for the most part, I like who I am and I like my life. I can live with myself and by myself forever, and I'd be okay with that.
You just got a stamp of the spirit of 76.
Huh?
You just added a stamp to your collection.
I can't wait to listen to all of these and hear what they're all about. But yeah, one more stamp and then we're going to do a mission, and then one more stamp and then we're done. At least for the day. Because I also need to be realistic. I would love to finish this, but I'm not going to finish this today. There's no way. But yeah, so I finally reached the point where I was I'm very happy with myself, and I think I'm doing fine. I'm doing great, and that's perfectly okay with me. Of course I still had crushes on people. Of course I still fell for people who were emotionally unavailable. But this time I would kind of sort of recognize that, hey, you know what? This person, not saying that they're not great people and they aren't going to make some person very, very happy one day, but that person just wasn't adding to my life in a positive way, in a way where I'm just you know what, because that's what I should be for my partner as well too. I'm not just referring to myself, I'm referring to my partner as well too. He is such an amazing addition to my life, and I am an addition to his. And that's the way that it should be. I shouldn't be making his life harder, and he shouldn't be making my life harder. That's just not how it works, especially if you're partners in life. That's literally the definition of we're supposed to be there to help each other and support each other, not drag the other down. Can shit happen in the middle where you need to support the other because they can't support themselves? Absolutely. That's why you're partners. But there does need to be that reciprocation. And it can't just be one person carrying the team the entire way through and you having to prove yourself to that person over and over again that you're worthy of their attention and love. And again, this is just my experience. It doesn't mean it has to be yours. It doesn't mean that you have to follow in my footsteps or heed my words or anything like that. But it's just so wild about how 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was still in such a dark state where I was still running after people who honestly did not even deserve my time or energy. And again, I hate to say that, but because I'm sure that I just wasn't the right person for them. And if I'm not the right person for them, then of course they're not going to put in the effort because they don't want to be with me, and that's perfectly okay. But there were just a lot of people who were just not worth my time and effort. And of course I had to go through all that to learn from it. So it's just so weird how after all this stuff of like me going for the wrong job, going for the wrong person, it somehow evolved into all of a sudden within a year and a half, I meet my person. And he's amazing and loving and just such the sweetest, nicest person. Biggest heart ever, so helpful and caring. And he's so incredibly handsome. And he always, always wants to make sure that I'm happy. And I always want to make sure that he's happy too, because he fills up my love tank and he fills up my happiness. So like I have all the love to go around as well too. So, and to go from meeting him, dating him, now we're engaged, now we're going to live together. I'm just so, it's a little overwhelming, really. Like it's astounding and it's incredible and it's amazing, but it's also like super duper like a year and a half ago we like were just friends on social media. Like we would keep in touch once every 2 years or 3 years, and now all of a sudden like what we have together is just remarkable. It's so crazy. And like the thing is like we've known each other since high school, and it's so weird how literally like tomorrow or a week from now you could meet your forever person or forever people, depending on, whether you're monogamous or polyamorous.
You just got a stamp of the White House.
You just added a stamp to your collection.
Cool, let's do a mission. I love how I keep calling it a mission as if I'm like still playing Jumpstart 3rd grade. I really want to play Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. I really hope I can make that happen. That's what I'm really hoping for, is after Back to the Future that I could do that. So hoping for it.
Dear Pen Pal, hi, this is Wendy writing from North Dakota. My class is learning about the 7 continents in the world. Can you tell me which continent is the largest? Thanks, Wendy.
You can choose to work on this Pen Pal challenge, or you can look at another. Click on the play envelope if you want to accept this challenge. Click on the next envelope if you want to read another Pen Pal letter.
Not me being in my mid-30s and I don't know what the answer is. It's either Europe or Australia, and I have a weird feeling that it's Australia because I feel like every single time it always shocks me.
A good choice, I think.
I think you'll need a map to solve this challenge.
Yeah?
Precisely. I once heard the tale of an old pirate ship frozen in the depths of an icy cavern. I'm certain a pirate ship would have a map that you could use to solve the challenge.
You're not suggesting what I think you are.
Yes, Edison, we need to go to the ice cave.
Click on the elevator when you're ready to solve your challenge. But there's no hurry.
There is a hurry, actually.
Click on the ice cave if you want to work on your challenge. The ice cave. Beneath this cavern lies the abandoned remains of an ancient pirate ship. There is an old mariner's map on the deck of a frozen pirate ship beneath this cavern.
You'll have to crack the ice and find the map to solve your challenge.
All right, we can go ahead and start.